Alright, so what's up guys? So we're out here on another run, out here doing this craziness for all you guys who simply sit back, watch, admire, and enjoy right as we go about this craziness, right? We're on a journey, we're on a mission, and you know, essentially it's gonna take some work, right? Going about the path, right, that leads you to where you want to go, and specifically in regards to your well-being, right? Your feeling of goodness, right? Where you feel awesome, you feel great, you feel accomplished, right? You're getting stuff done, right? You're seeing certain improvements, certain progressions within you, and you know, essentially that's what it boils down to. And don't worry, because we're going to give you 4 ways to well-being. And you know, without further ado, we are going to go into way number 1 in order to feel that well-being. And we literally just mentioned it, and that is to improve, right? Work on yourself, right? Because essentially that's what it boils down to, right? No matter how big the improvement is, the only thing that matters is whether or not you are getting better, right? You are seeing improvement, because essentially, you know, the end goals, right? The prize at the end, the trophy, is really not that important, right? Especially when you think, you know, about what we are put here on this planet to do, right? Just like the trees that we see around us, we are made to grow, right? When you think of a happy tree, you think of one that is prospering, right? One that is growing within its environment, right? Because you can see a, you know, dying tree. What do you think of when you picture that thought, right? Of a dying tree, right? One with its leaves pretty much hunched over and gray and about to fall to the floor, right? Where it started, right? Trees simply grow up, right? At least most of them, right? They keep advancing and advancing and advancing. And, you know, essentially you have to think about that, right? Because it doesn't matter how much growth that tree is making, right? As long as it's making the growth and not doing the opposite. So by virtue of that, in order to feel great about yourself, you have to be working on something, right? Think about anything you can do, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, in regards to your finances or, you know, your body, right? You don't have to work or work out, but there's so many different ways, right? Read a book, listen to a podcast, right? Go for a walk, right? Go start conversations with people, right? Work on your social skills, right? Such a, you know, lost art in today's world, right? Especially with all this technology, people forget, you know, how to interact with one another, how to make eye contact, so forth. So especially if you want to see that well-being, find areas like that and improve, and you will be on your way there. And another way, tip number 2, is once you discover these areas to work on, become a master at them, right? Because being, you know, well, having that well-being, you can almost picture a master, right? Someone who's really good at what they do. They have a lot of confidence, a lot of pride, right? How many teachers or simply instructors, right, people you look up to, how many of those people are not proud and confident in what they do, right? It's something they've been doing for years, over and over again, right? Other things may make them feel, you know, not as happy or not great about, but at least, you know, within their craft, within their specialty, right? A basketball player, right? You bring them to a basketball arena, they're gonna be pretty good, right? They're gonna have good well-being, right? And that feeling, you know, will stretch to other areas, right? Because it gives them a purpose, right? A reason to be, you know, on this planet, right? Beyond making, every shot, or trying to make every shot, and becoming the best basketball player they can be. Essentially, by them being good or very good at something, it gives them a purpose, right? It puts them in a seat of power and influence, right, where they can touch other people's lives, right, by teaching them, by serving as an inspirational figure, right? Someone people look up to, right? We don't want to say someone twice, but you know what we mean. So essentially, figure out what you're good at, work on it, and become a master at it, right? Get, a set of skills that essentially not too many people have, in that area, right? You become unique, almost like one of a kind. And, essentially, you will feel great because you know that there's not too many people that can do what you do, and we are throwing it over and catching it. And essentially think about that, right? Take that into account, and you will be on your way to getting there, right? To feeling that well-being. So essentially, as we keep going, you want to ask, what other ways do you want to feel great? Right? Feel that well-being. And of course, why are we not going to bring up the fact fitness? Of course you're going to bring it up, right? Because it's too often neglected, right? Because our bodies were built for moving, right? You're gifted all these bones and muscles, to move them, to get around, right? They give you the potential, to lift heavy things and to transport yourself, right? Our bodies weren't designed to sit in a car and get around, right? That's why we have feet and the ability to walk. So by virtue of that nature, you have to think, in order to execute your basal, I would say, like, scientific purpose, right? To walk and get around and move and hunt, right? That's why you want, to exercise and get your level of fitness up, right? Because by virtue, we are simply animals, right? Although we have amazing things like critical thinking, right? We're super smart creatures, but in the end of the day, we're animals just like our dogs and our cats, right? And a monkey and whatever other animals you can think of. So, by that nature, just like the dog and the cat would have, these instincts and these drivers and these needs they have biologically, we as humans have to think about that too, right, in regards to well-being. Because if you ignore that, just like a dog or a cat would ignore, their instincts, right, to, if they see a bone of dog, the dog is going to want to eat that bone. And what if they started ignoring that bone, right? The dog is going to be too happy because the dog was put on this planet to search through the bones and eat it and chew on it, right? It's some of the greatest feelings ever for that dog, right? Because that's what it was put here to do. So by that nature, really take that into account, right? Don't go against your biology. Don't go against your inner reason, as to why you're here, right? You're put here to eat, hunt, and reproduce. So, do that. And, essentially your fourth way in order to be or have that well-being, what's up, man? How's it going? Is to educate, right? Constantly be teaching yourself, right? Whether it is through, a book or a class or even experience, right? Although you don't want to always be learning the hard way, but sometimes you have to, right? Because you don't know better. The only way to learn is to go through it and fall down, right? And get up, right? That's the glory of it, right? That whole falling down, getting up, right? The rejection, right? More better, than the actual prize, right? And not going through the win, right? Having that win stripped from you. And you know, essentially the goal of well-being is not in what you can attain, but how many times you can fall and get up, right? And get up better, get up faster, stronger, more intelligent. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're here to improve, to get better, to grow and grow and grow. That's why we don't, you know, essentially come out of the womb fully grown and, you know, essentially done, right? The whole progression of growth beyond, you know, the body's physical growth. So, right, it's almost thinking of the curious case of Benjamin Button and how weird that was, right? The whole process in reverse. And, you know, it's simply not like that. We're put here to grow, not, you know, essentially, you know, regress and go back to childhood. So, you know, these are the 4 ways in order to improve your well-being. As always, we say thank you very much and goodbye.